talk for hours about Britain's Got Talent. What was the audition process like for you? Stages, you got to the finals.
Yeah, I turned it down for 6 years. I turned it down the first year leading up to the year that I did it, the 7th season. So I took it because we just had a baby. And then I was sat at home. I turned down all the cruise ship after pantomime. I turned down all the cruise ships in January so I could be at home with Nina and our little baby Lola. So she, she was, I think she was just over a year old at that time. And I just wanted to be home after Panto. So I said, I won't do any cruise ships. We'll have a bit of time off. And then I got a phone call from Britain's Got Talent. They said, Steve, will you come and audition at the Palladium in London? There's a space for you. Any day next week, you choose, and there'll be a space for you. So because I turned it down so many times, I thought, okay, I've got the whole week off, probably the whole month. I think I had off. Okay, I'll come down. So I went down and I absolutely loved it. I just, I'd done about eight minutes on the audition, and I went on my own, which I kind of regret, because when I came off the stage, it was euphoric. You had this great feeling of standing ovation at the London Palladium, the 2,000 people screaming. It was a huge high. The judges were all for me on that day. It was a great surprise. I was near the end of the day as well, and I don't know if they had any comedy. So when they're ready for comedy, they really give you a big chance, So, but when the audition went out, they showed 20 seconds, and I really would love to see that 8 minutes, because we rocked the place. Me and Arthur Lager had a great time, We went down to the judges. We did things down there with Amanda. They just didn't show it. So that was sad. But when it did go out, everyone was saying that they were texting me I had loads of text messages when it went out on the audition, and said, oh, don't worry, Steve. I'm sure they're waiting for you to go through to the live shows. And that's when you start working, If you get onto the live shows, you will shine. And so I've been professional for 15 years at this point. So I thought, okay, I have got nothing to lose now, I'll just go on and do it. If they show the audition, that's great. So they did show the audition, and then I got onto the live shows, and then that's when I started working. So my wife said to me, I had a puppet that was a Verna Finley character, and Nina said, why don't you turn that puppet? It was like a male puppet had like a ripped chest and some swimming shorts on. Turn him into Simon Cowell. So I actually sent him off to Portugal, and this gentleman worked on him, and he put a tan on him. He put the glasses, he spiked the hair, put a new wig on, and put a suit. He sent him back 2 weeks later, and he looked like Simon Cowell. So all the process of going on the semi-finals, they want to know everything that you're doing. All the producers want to know exactly the jokes that you're doing, the routines, and how long it's going. So we were forever sending videos backwards and forwards, so you could, so they can vet it, so they know how long you've got. I did do that. I had Arthur Lager. I didn't tell them about the Simon Cowell puppet. I kept that secret.
Oh,
so
really?
So when I went to do the final rehearsal on the Friday, before the Saturday went live, I did the Arthur Lager routine, and it finished on a little rap, and the act went well. They applauded in the rehearsal, and then that's when the studio audience come in on the Saturday. You have one more rehearsal in the afternoon, and then you go live. So I thought, okay, I'm going to have to probably reveal the Simon Cowell puppet now. So I did him in the final rehearsal, but I did Arthur Lager. I finished him like I did the day before, and then instead of ending on Arthur taking a bow, the music that I ended on, it was the hip hop to the hip hop.
Yes, I remember
down Dougie and the Dougie the Riddler, Dougie the Deet. I put him in the box, but they didn't know I was pulling out something else. I pulled out Simon Cowell, and this was in the rehearsal. So Anton Deck, our presenters, was standing there in the jeans. It's all rehearsing, and the judges weren't there. So all the producers come down, and they were in hysterics. They were laughing, they were crying, laughing, because they were just laughing at the Simon Cowell puppet. So I just hoped they'd say, can you leave this in tonight?
Yeah.
Simon, I think they said Simon will love it, or we just want to see Simon's face when he sees this puppet.
Had you met Simon yet at that point?
No, never met him. No, okay. Didn't even know what he looked like.
No.
Well, he did. He looked like that puppet. Right. So we went live that night, and because Simon Cowell was in the audience, I did my act. The Arthur Lager act went down great, which I was happy with, all of those new lines. And then I pulled out the Simon Cowell. And when you watch it on YouTube, you just showed a part. the reaction of the audience laughing at Simon Cowell laughing at Simon Cowell, and the audience laughing at Simon Cowell, laughing at Simon Cowell. That's where the reaction came from. That's where the gold moment of television actually happened. And then a week later, it's a very quick process once it goes live. So I got kicked out that night. Simon Cowell went with Geordie O'Keefe, who played the guitar, and he was a singer, great talent. And
you got kicked out, but
I got kicked out of the semi-finals, and then I got brought back a few days later as the wild card.
Oh, right. Yes,
Yeah.
I remember
So
that.
I was a secret. I was a secret act all
Yes.
week. I couldn't tell anybody, my friends, my family. I told my mum and I told a few friends that I'm just going to perform at the final. So they've invited me back. Do you want some tickets? Where I knew that I was actually in the show. I was performing. So I kept it secret. So my mum was very surprised when when Anton Depp brought me back out. So I was the wild card. I came back, but within that week, we had a Sunita, which was Simon Cowell's ex-girlfriend. Sunita puppet was made.
Oh.
And so she was made in 3 days. Now, I need to mention Peter Pullen, who's a legendary puppet builder. He made a lot of famous characters in the UK. He made the Arthur that you just saw. So he made Sunita for me in 3 days. He didn't
3
sleep.
days. Wow, that's hard to
Him
imagine.
and his lovely partner, Chris. Yeah. He worked so hard on it. And he sent back photos. He said, right, this is what I've come up with. So he said, I'll meet you at the rehearsals. He drove 3 hours to London, met me at rehearsals. An hour later, I was on stage with Simon Cowell and Sunita. But not just the puppet, but I had to write a brand new script as well. I didn't know what I was going to do. I thought I did have some sort of material ready, but it had to change because I had the Simon Cowell and the Sunita puppet. So me and my wife, Nina, she helped me rewrite the show, the final. And I put loads of new jokes in as well. She said, don't do new jokes, do jokes you know. So no, this is topical. It's going to work. So I did topical stuff. I ad-libbed on the final. And then I brought out Simon Cowell and Sunita. And again, it worked really because Sunita and Simon were both sat in the audience. And if she wasn't there, it wouldn't have been as funny. But because she was there, again, it was that scenario of the audience were laughing at Simon Cowell, laughing at Simon Cowell and Sunita. The audience were laughing at Sunita, laughing at Sunita. And the TV camera showed them as well.
That took a lot of courage to do some ad-libbing in the finals. Wow.
I know it could have gone the other way, but like I say, my show's never the same. It's different every night. So it was different to the rehearsal completely. But the producers, they lapped it up. And I was very lucky on that show. They didn't tweak with anything that I did. And I even added stuff. And they just said, Steve, if you've got any more ad-libs on the final, just put them in. They just told me to put them in. So they trusted me really just to perform, just to entertain their audience. And that's all I ended up doing. It was brilliant.
Got a huge audience reaction, as people can see in the clips that luckily are still up there for people to enjoy on YouTube. So the Simon puppet, though, you only decided on using him, that you got that idea when you had already begun the rounds, right? With the auditions.
Yes.
Wow. So that was a brilliant move because it was
great. It's
so
my wife's
successful.
idea. Yeah. Nina's brilliant move because she and also when you're on those sort of shows, don't hold back material as well, because I got through to the semi-finals. I didn't know if I was going to be in the final. So I was going to save the Simon Cowell puppet for the final, thinking, oh, this will help me win, And then it was Nina's brother in Australia. We were talking to him and he said, what's going on? He said, well, Steve's in the semi-finals this Saturday night. And he's holding back Simon Cowell. He said, no, put it in. And it's because my brother-in-law said, put the Simon Cowell puppet in this Saturday because you might not get through. And I never thought of that. So it's all down to my brother-in-law, Warren, down in Australia, that I actually put the Simon Cowell puppet in. And I probably wouldn't have got any further without it. It was so different. It was an ace up my sleeve, and he was right to do that. And thankfully, we had another puppet in the final. So that worked as well.
Which year was that? The Britain's Got Talent?
This is my 10th anniversary this
10th
month.
anniversary. Wow, time flies.
So it's 10 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah. So what was the aftermath? I'm sure it helped promote you afterwards in your career. How exactly did you find that, or to what extent has it been helpful?
Yeah, the next day I was doing a Fate. Yeah, so it was I was already going to be doing the Fate. I was performing at this Fate. And they came back to me on the day. They emailed me on the day and said, are you still coming to the Fate tomorrow? Because we know you're live on telly tonight in the final. Are you still coming to the Fate? They were worried I wouldn't turn up. But in my local village, you know, and I emailed back and I said, I'll see you tomorrow. Of course I'll be there. So, but when I did turn up, there was 150 people queuing up waiting to meet me. So I literally was signing. I took loads of photographs with me. I signed them, and I had just the best gig. You know, the field was really big. It was an outside show, and it was just a brilliant day. When I come out of the semi-finals, I need to tell you this story. I come out of the semi-finals because we're entertainers and we've never got any money. And you do these shows because you want to win the money, right?
Right.
so anyway, you have to shut off about 2 months' work to do the show, because if you get further, they need you in the studio. They need you to do interviews and things. And so I did. I cancelled loads of work. I gave them to friends. I apologized to agents. I said, I'm sorry. I need to be available for this. And so I came out of the semi-finals, and the next day, because I got kicked out, I thought, okay, I'm going to make my wife a roast dinner, and we're going to have a bottle of bubbly. So I'll get a bottle of bubbly from the local garage. So I walked around the local garage and I put my card down to pay for it, and it declined. There was no money on the account.
Oh,
Yeah,
no. So
entertain.
yeah, people
So
don't realize it's actually a sacrifice of money. It's not only they don't pay you in the
I know.
if you don't win, but
Yeah, but
you have to give up gigs. You have to
you're
lose
giving
money.
up gigs.
Yeah.
And so literally we were, you know, we didn't really have any money that week. And I did come back with another card. I knew that I had money on a card somewhere, but I came back and paid for the bottle and took it back. And it was just one of those funny things that I heard people whispering behind me before I actually gave my card. They were saying, there's the ventriloquist. You can hear the word ventriloquist when people are behind you.
Right.
Ventriloquist, you know, and
Yeah.
you know they're talking about you because there's not many about. So I knew that they'd seen me on TV the night before, and then that queue of people saw my card declined and me walk out with my head down. That's the hardest thing in the
Yeah.
showbiz world, isn't it? But you know, I'm an entertainer. I'm proud to say it. I'm a human being, you know. So things like that happen, and then I went to the final the next time. So when I came out of it, what ricocheted from that was corporate shows, and I put on straight away. I put on my first UK tour. So I got 42 theatre dates around the country, from Cornwall to Scotland. And I had the best time. I filmed my first DVD in my hometown. We sold it out. Not the DVD, we sold out the venue. And then the DVD sold out for a couple of years, which was great. But I also got a job. I got a phone call from Jimmy Osmond, who 2 years after that show, he saw me on YouTube on Britain's Got Talent. So this is 2.5 years after. And I was offered a tour with the Osmonds in the UK. And then I spoke to Jimmy Osmond on the phone that afternoon, and he said, Steve, will you come out to Branson, Missouri to do a show at the Andy Williams Moon River Theatre? And I said, would I? Of course I would. Yes. So I signed up with the Osmonds, and I worked with Jimmy and his brothers, Jay and Merrill, in 2016 and 2017. I'd done 2 consecutive years in Branson, Missouri, and it was 2 of the best contracts of my life. The brothers really made me feel like part of the family. But to do that was incredible. I was on a show called Strictly Come Dancing, just as a guest with one of my characters. They didn't want me to dance. They must have seen me previously. And I worked at the Royal Albert Hall with Kenny G, you know, who's one of my all-time favorites. Yeah. So I'm only doing that just in case you don't know what Kenny G does. He does that.
Right.
Apparently.
Does a bit off to the side. I remember.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. It depends what he's playing, but he's got a really long beard. So, yeah. So I had just really great shows come out of it. And even now I'm getting 10 years later, I still get, you know, I've been doing radio interviews. Britain's Got Talent is actually on TV in the UK right now. So they're showing loads of clips and on YouTube at the moment, but lots of upcoming acts. And every year I always know someone on it. So they text me and ask me the experience, and I give them advice. But this year, no one's messaged me. I don't know anyone on it this year. So, and that's why I've got no messages.
I asked Arthur this question when he was here with you. So I'll ask you also, what is your favorite venue, if you have one, because you do a lot of cruise ships and you do all kinds of corporate and other events, family entertainment. Yes. Do you have a favorite type of audience or type of venue, or does it feel equal to you?
Every audience is different, and it doesn't matter about the venue. You can be in a venue and have the best audience, and that venue can be incredible, but the audience could be different, you know. So I've had an amazing venue. For instance, I'm just editing a podcast now from the producer of a Christmas show in the UK called the Thursford Spectacular. He's called John Cushion, and he booked me to host the show for 4 years at Christmas, and it's 7 weeks long, and 7 days a week, 2 shows a day, 1,400 seats, sell out every year. So that's 2,800 people every day for 7 weeks. And I've been the host for 4 years, and I absolutely love it. And you don't really get a duff show in there out of all those shows that you do, which is 7 weeks times 2. You know, it's a lot of shows, but it's one of the best jobs. It's very well paid, but it's also that there's 23 dancers in the show. There's 30, 40 musicians. There's 60 singers. There's over 100 people in the cast. 50 people in the crew. It's just incredible. The venue itself is probably one of my favorites in the UK, but there's also, that's in Norfolk, but there's also Cromer Pier. There's a place I love to come back to as well, and that's on the end of a pier, a theatre on the end of the pier, which is very rare here. We haven't got many of those left. So I love going back to places that love my act, and I try and rewrite it if I go back, try and be fresh and have a new character or write a new routine. And I don't like to go back with the same stuff. So if I know the audience have seen me, I try and give them at least another 1 or 2 new puppets or routines, and just to keep it fresh.
So you perform for sometimes strictly adult audiences and sometimes family audiences, I assume. Is it more one or the other, or do you ever perform for children specifically?
I never really do just children. No, I prefer there's a place called Butlins here, and Butlins is one of the biggest holiday centers in the UK. I'm doing all 3 parks this season. I've got like 30 dates for them. And it's just fantastic. They do all the lights for you, the sound. They put your videos or your digital images on the screen. They do all your music for you. So all you got to do is walk on, and you've got 2,000 people watching you every night. And now, this year you have to do 2 shows. So you go on and do 7:30, then you come back at 9:30, do another one. And so I'm doing it next week. So I do one in Skegness in the UK, down to Minehead in Devon, and then Bognor Regis, which is an hour from my house. So you do those 3, and then a week later you do them again, Monday to Wednesday. But that is also one of my favorite venues. They really do look after you there at Butlins, and it's a place where many entertainers and TV performers, that they used to be like redcoat. They're called redcoats. So they would be a redcoat there, and they would learn their trade. Like I was an apprentice with Jimmy, they would learn how to put on a show, host a show, call bingo, or sing a song, or be in a production show. And then you may get to be a cabaret yourself and come back years later with an act. And that's what I did. I came back as an act,
So you mentioned Butlin, I think it's called.
Butlins.
Yes, yeah. Butlins. And I believe we have a clip from one of your performances there. If I'm not mistaken, I think is it Butlins? Do you recall?
No, I think that may have been a theatre that I did in London. Not sure which theatre it was, but
okay.
This is the sort of acts that you would see, and I can do it for children because I'm not a blue adult material act. I can do families, or I can go and do a little bit more naughty. Arthur will be a little bit more cheeky. I can do adult and corporate. But I prefer like family shows or the adult show. I don't mind those. I really admire children's entertainers and the patience they've got. But it's too much hard work for me. I have done schools. I can do them, but
so
I choose
those are
to.
Children audiences, but that's not what your focus is. We do have the clips on. Sorry, I forgot where exactly it's from, but wherever it is, let's take a look at the Steve Hewlett performing one of his live shows.
I've been a ventriloquist, right, since I was 12. I've been doing this for 6 years, right? And I love doing what I do. Ventriloquist, that's what I do. I love passing my time, right? I got into Houston City this afternoon. I stood in the post office, right, for a couple of hours just doing this. Cash in under 8, please. Cash in under 6. And I've done it for hours. I chose the windows that are closed. It kicked off then. Loved it. So, I love passing my time. Top banana. So, hey... So, I only do that baby routine for myself, really, because me and my wife are expecting our first baby any day now. Thank you very much. Thanks. And I've been on tour. I really miss her. I've not been home for 10 months. I can't wait to get home. Celebrate with her. She told me on Facebook on Thursday. So I'm teasing, right? Because, no, I've been there the whole time. I love being home, and I've been touring and stuff, which is great. But I went to antenatal classes. That was a giggle, right? Antenatal. Because there's only 4 couples there. That's 8 people and a nurse, 9 people, right? To me, that's an audience. I've worked at Geffner. Right, so here we go. So we sat, I'm joking. I meant Worthing. Right, so what it is, ladies and gentlemen, is that I sat there in an antenatal class. Technology's moved on because the nurse gets a monitor, puts it on the babies, right? So you can hear, puts a speaker on so everyone in the room can hear how different the baby heartbeats sound. Didn't know this. This is what happened in my first antenatal class. Thank you very much. Here we go. Couple number 1. Couple number 2. Couple number 3. The drummer loves that one. And it got to my wife. It went like this. Let me out! Let me out! What? It was me doing it, by the way. And almost the same reaction in the antenatal class. Like, no one laughed, right? And everybody freaked out a little bit. They didn't know what I do. Not only did I come 4th, it was way before Britain's Got Talent, so it didn't matter, right? So my wife went like that. She wasn't doing like Saturday Night Fever. She's pointing to the door. I had to leave and missed the last 7 sessions. So never mind. But I love passing my time, have a bit of a giggle. So I'm just gonna, I get a little horse. Grand National related. Talking and drinking. No. What? Can I have a drink? No. Stop it. I got children. What? Stop it. No. Stop it. Ow. Sorry. Stop it. Talking and drinking at the same time. What? Stop it. Cheeky. Go and have an interval. That's rude. Talking and drinking at the same time. It's not possible. I've got lots of characters. I've got to push on. That's all I do with that. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome on the stage a very, very special friend of mine. His name is Arthur Lager. Thank you very much. Here we are. Hello, ladies. Look at me, King Arthur. You're not King Arthur. Why are you wearing that? I got it off eBay. eBay, yeah. Who from? Madonna. Take it off. Sorry, no one noticed. Get on with it. So here we are, and I want you to tell the audience why we're here. Cash. No. Have you lost a shoe? No, I found one. What? Pull your trousers down. So Arthur's going to dedicate a lovely song for a lovely lady. Or in here. Yes, in here. Have a look around. Find yourself a beautiful, stunning, debonair-looking lady. Then sing to her. In here? Yeah. I think you looked. What time's a raffle? Have a look. Yeah, I did. I want to go home. Arthur, don't be cheeky. Oh, there's loads of lovely ladies in here tonight. I doubt it. I want to go home. Why? I lost the other one now. Okay. Wasn't it toes? That is your toes. I've only got one big fat toe. Leave it. I look like a freak. Arthur, stop it. Okay, so Arthur's going to dedicate a little song. That wasn't in the script. I know. Okay, so hang on, just hold on to me like this. You're going to dedicate a little song for the ladies. I know. Yeah, so have a little look at loads of lovely ladies in here tonight. Okay. One down there. Hello, sweetheart, how are you? Ask her out. Oi, get out! No. Oh. You've got to be romantic. Do I? Yes, you do, Arthur. Hello, sweetheart, are you single or are you married? No, that's cheeky. In other words, are you looking or are you cooking? Oh dear, I'm sorry. Okay, so he's going to dedicate you a little song, sweetheart. I'm going to count to 3. Wow, you're a genius. When I get to 3, Arthur, you start singing. What's your name, sweetheart? Oh, wait, I'm talking to you. Oh, he is. Someone is. Okay. That was working you. Okay, what's your name, sweetheart? Kathy. Hello, Kathy. Hey, don't do that noise. It's disgusting. The ladies don't actually like that noise you keep doing when you go out to bingo and stuff. No, they don't like that noise. Do they not? No, they don't. Oh. So you need to do, use an alternative noise. Maybe a noise that Roy Orbison uses in Pretty Woman. Like what? Ladies love that. Do they? Yeah. Try it on Kathy down there. Oi, what? It's disgusting. We've been here all day. You should have rehearsed the noise at least. Not nice, thought I hadn't got a tongue. Don't let that put you off, Kathy. He's going to dedicate the... No. I'll just use his. This is a little song. He's going to dedicate. And I'm going to count to 3. Genius you are. When I get to 3, you start singing. Then the audience will join in. How do you know they're going to join in? Trust me. Trust you. You're 39, you play with dolls and you talk to yourself. Arthur, it's a known fact that when you're on a stage as beautiful as this at the Bloomsbury Theatre, the audience will do almost anything you tell them. Kathy, take your clothes off. I didn't know. I said almost. Leave your shoes on. So this isn't... Sorry, I'm sorry. Okay, I want a kiss. What? I want a kiss. I'm not kissing you. Not you, you psycho, Kathy. You want to give Kathy a kiss? Okay, can we meet you at the front of the stage, sweetheart? Okay, come on, give him a kiss. Here we go. I think you deserve a receipt. Okay. She smells gorgeous, does she? Yeah. You're then jogging. Okay, Arthur, stop here, it's warm in here. So, Arthur, do you enjoy the kiss? I did, I said no tongues. Okay, she's got no teeth. This is a little song. Leave it. I'm sorry, sir. He's going to dedicate a little song, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, you ready? Yeah, yes. And you ready? All right. And you've been fantastic. You're just for being here, for turning up, ladies and gentlemen, before they live in you. Thank you so much for supporting Michael Porter's and everybody else is involved in this wonderful charity. And, let's get justice. This is fantastic what we're doing tonight. So thank you for being here. We're going to leave you now with a few thoughts. Of what? We're going to sing to her. Yeah, there you go. Kathy, yes. 1, 2. No, I'm going to count, then you sing. Okay. 1, 2. Hey, listen, I'm going to count. You're going to sing. What did I say in the dressing room? Stop doing that in the sink. No. Hey, what did I say after that? Get a towel. Listen. Arthur, I said you don't talk when I talk. You're not that good. That's why you didn't win. I don't care, it's 2 years ago. Okay, here we go. You ready? Yes. Okay, this is a lovely little song dedicated to the lovely Kathy. Thank you, sweetheart. Ready? Clear our throat. Thanks. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Na. Heidi, hi. Hody, ho. There she was, just walking down the street singing. Chickadee, chana, the Chinese chicken, you had it down singing, you're doing something, chickadee, now go. On your own, Kathy. Sing! Go. Ladies and gentlemen, take care, good night. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Welcome back. That is Steve Hewlett in live performance in a theater in London. You have Arthur being your main character. You have some other characters as well. I believe you, all your characters are soft puppets from what I've seen. Do you use any of the hard, traditional wooden carved dummies? They were called dummies usually, referred to, but ventriloquial figures is the fancy term for it. But in any case, now they're basically soft puppets and hard puppets that ventriloquists use. More and more ventriloquists are going to the soft puppets, as you do, Steve. What do you like particularly about soft puppets, or why do you prefer them, I suppose, to the hard figures?
I felt like since we lost people like Ray Allen with Lord Charles, or Peter Bruff, Archie Andrews, those those characters with real eyes, eyeballs, and real hair, and those, they kind of scared the audiences back then, you know. And they say it's a dying art over here, ventriloquism, but I think people are a little bit scared of those type of characters. I still get that today, even with some of the soft ones, because Arthur Lager's eyes look quite real. But I like using the soft characters because you get more animation from them, I believe. And I think it's a transition really from the music hall to the clubs of the 70s and 80s, and that all died down. And ventriloquism kind of coming back now with the soft characters. You get, you know, Jeff Dunham. We had Keith Harris with Orville the Duck and Cuddles the Monkey. They were all soft, and he was so successful, Keith Harris was, that he gave me a few of his characters which were soft. Actually, Pongo the Skunk is in my show, and originally Pongo was Keith's, you know, so I've got a hand-me-down. But he also gave me a vulture called Vinny about 8 years ago. So I love using the soft characters because they've got, you know, their eyes move in directions where you send them, and or wherever they look. I think that children can enjoy them without being scared or freaked out a little bit by the dummies or the figures. So I think I call us like more of a cartoon live on stage, you know. We're so animated with puppets, with soft characters like what I've got. Pongo, Vinny, even Rod Vegas. Rod Vegas was a let me see, Mary Ann Taylor character, and he plays the guitar.
Mary Ann Taylor, for our audience, is a puppet maker. So for those who don't know, a famous within the ventriloquist community, famous for
she's
making
wonderful.
these soft puppets. As you mentioned, Verna Finley earlier, the most famous of the soft puppet makers while she was doing it.
Yeah, Verna Finley made the first Peanut for Jeff Dunham, so that's how far back she goes. So I was working with Verna when I was in my teens. She made me about 4 puppets, and then Mary Ann Taylor took over, and then now Melissa, I believe, is working with Mary Ann Taylor. So wonderful character creators. So they've made me a character. So, I'll just tell you quickly about a show that I do on tour now, which is Arthur Lager, when he's like 8 years old, 2014, 60. Melissa actually made those characters for me. So Peter Pullen, who made 80-year-old Arthur, he also made the 8-year-old Arthur. But the ones in the middle were Mary Ann Taylor, Melissa Taylor. So, and they done a wonderful job because although the character was growing up, it kind of had to still look like Arthur Lager. So it had the blue eyes. But every time it got older, his hair started to recede a bit more, like mine, you know. So it just started to go back
like
a
all
bit.
of us.
Then, so he had, when he was like 60, he's got dark hair, but he's bald, you know, but dark hair around here. And then the Arthur that you know now, he's got the gray hair around the sides. So it's kind of grown. It grows in front of your eyes in this latest tour that I'm doing, Ventriloquist, which is also the name of my book, funny enough, which has to be out this year. I have to get
we have to look for that. It will be available on Amazon, I assume.
Hopefully it'll be everywhere. You'll know about it. I'm going to try and come to Kentucky next year, and I just want to go back to Kentucky anyway. So any excuse is good. But if I've got a book, I've interviewed most of the ventriloquists around the world, and they should be there
for the ventriloquist convention. For those of you not in the ventriloquist community, that's where they have the International Annual Ventriloquist Convention.
I've only been there once, Jonathan. Have you been?
Oh, really? I used to. I went many times toward the beginning of my career. So it was many years ago. I went about a dozen years in a row, and then I stopped. I haven't been there for a number of years. I'd like to go back again, but it's been a while. So you're talking about the soft puppets. The one also very practical advantage of the soft puppets is that they're easier to transport. They're lighter, and they're not so breakable as the hard ones. You don't have to put all the padding and heavy suitcases and stuff. So I use both kinds, but the soft ones have that big advantage. Much easier to carry around.
You can squeeze them in. You can get more in a box, can't you? I always worry about them being damaged, and obviously when you get them through customs, you get a lot of. You know, they don't care what they do. They just want to know if there's drugs inside the puppet's head. So they have ripped her head up before, and you just have to sew it back up. It's frustrating, you know, because it's a strange job that we do, you know. So they don't always see a ventriloquist with a character traveling through. I take Arthur Lager in my hand luggage now, so they're always prodding Arthur in the customs. But as long as if I'm going to do a cruise ship or a hotel abroad, as long as I've got half a lager with me, I can still do a half hour. But if I lose everything, I can't do anything. This for half an hour is just not funny after 5 minutes, is
That would
it?
be quite a challenge, to a half hour of just the hand.
Yeah.
If you were not a ventriloquist, what do you think you would be doing? Do you have a secondary passion, or did you have maybe a childhood dream or direction you might have gone if it wasn't ventriloquism?
I think I've been blindsided by the world of ventriloquism. It's just all I've ever thought of doing. But I love cooking. So when I'm home, I love to cook for my wife. I love to have a recipe book. I love to cook from scratch, and I love to see what I'm about to eat and know what's in it. I love cooking. So I guess I would be I'll be a chef, I guess, because I just love preparing something and cooking. I like making pies and curries when I'm home. I love feeding the family and the neighbors sometimes. It's nice to have something really that you can do that you're good at. And I'm told that I am good because everyone eats my food. They want more. So I'm told that I'm good at cooking. But I have really loved the writing process, researching the writing of the book, Ventriloquist. And I finished it. I'm not sure what to do with it. So now I've got to start that process of trying to get it published. And what do I do with photographs and all that, to get it in the book. So that's something I'm learning. I've got a book. I'm learning about that. So I think I would be writing, I'd love to write a show reviewer or something in the business, because I just love the business. So it'll be something around the comedy world, I guess.
Well,
I'd love to write.
I'm glad that you are able to pursue your number one passion. You have been for all these years. I guess the world lost a potentially wonderful restaurant or chain of restaurants when you did not become a chef, but the world got and won a ventriloquist who is a wonderful performer, entertainer. So I guess it's a good deal for the world on the balance. We got you to be a ventriloquist.
Well, thank you. It is like a recipe, I guess. When you're on stage, you come out and you introduce yourself to the audience. That's the starter. You give them the main course, which is the character, and then the dessert at the end is the applause, isn't it? So I'm kind of a chef, but I provide the audience with a buffet, I guess, of laughter.
Yeah. It's a good analogy. Tell us where. Well, I'm going to post under this interview the link where people can follow you, but maybe just you can mention it right now. What's the best way for people to follow you?
You can follow me on my website. That's where most of my work is. So www.thestevehewlettshow.com. I put all my shows up there. My podcasts are all up there as well. And the wonderful Jonathan Geffner joined me on one of those episodes. That was great. And so Eyes and Teeth is the podcast, but you can get that on the website. And also I am on Facebook. So Steve Hewlett, Ventriloquist. And you can find me on there and say hello and look at the YouTube. I've got a YouTube channel, the Steve Hewlett Show, I believe, or Steve Hewlett Ventriloquist. So yeah, if you put Steve Hewlett Ventriloquist, I'll pop up everywhere.
Great. Yeah, we'll just Google you and people can find you. But I'll post the links for convenience under this video so people can be sure to follow you. Right. So if you've enjoyed this interview, and why wouldn't you? You should subscribe to this channel and click the notification bell so you won't miss any future uploads. We've got a lot of podcasts coming up here with other wonderful guests. And thank you very much, Steve, for being my guest here today.
My pleasure. It's great to see you again, Jonathan. You're a brilliant talent. And I love that we found each other the last 3 years during this crazy time, but we've been creative ourselves and in a great way. So keep doing what you're doing, buddy.
Yes, thank you. Same to you. So take care. Hope to see you soon, Steve. And until next time, bye for now.
Thanks very much.